Hello, this is Owen again. In this video I'm going to be talking a little bit about strategy in the VEX competition. And a good tool to use for this is a scoring program for the game. Like there's an app for phones, or there's this one, which I really like. They had one for Gateway too. Team 3129, Green Machine. All credit to them for this. I really like it. It can be used to test out different strategies and see how well they would work. So I kind of think about strategy in two different ways. There's strategy of how you structure your season, and strategy of how you play the game. And if you do it right, these should be very connected. So when you start out, you can go out on a game scoring thing like this, and at its most basic level, the strategy is points per second. Like what actions will get the biggest change in your points per second, or a decrease in your opponent's. Like in 10 seconds, can I get 10 points, or can I get 20 points by doing these different things? Or can I get 10 points and subtract my opponent's score by 10 points, which is the equal to getting 20 points. So with this type of program, you can just stash buckies. So if let's say you can stash 3 buckies in 10 seconds, or you can score 3 big balls in the same amount of time. So that's the same amount of points. So which one do you do if you have that time? What you also need to think about is permanent points, which have been a big deal in every game. And this is points that your opponents cannot easily get rid of. And these stash points are permanent points, because when your opponent's robot drives over here, they can take out these, but they can't easily take out these. So stashing buckyballs is a pretty big deal this year because of permanent points. Now, other permanent points you can get are autonomous. And the autonomous bonus is a huge swing, by the way. That's 10 points for you, and 10 points your opponents didn't get if you win autonomous. So that's a 20-point swing for winning autonomous, which is the same as one of the teams high-hanging with a ball. So definitely autonomous should be a big use of your resources. Now, resources. That's a way to think about your season as a whole. If you have a certain amount of time and energy you can put into your robot, what things should you focus on? You should focus on things that give you the maximum point swing per second and permanent points. And how you value those could differ a little bit on what you want to do. Like, what are your goals for the season? If your goals are to do decently well, maybe be an alliance captain at a local competition, you probably, regardless of what you choose, if you have a robot that does it well and doesn't break and does it well, you can probably manage that. If you want to qualify for Worlds, you'll need to be a little bit more picky about what you're trying to do and also execute it well. And if you want to do well at Worlds, then you need a truly exceptional robot that does... You choose a good task and do it very well, or you do many different tasks all well. So, big issues, there's permanent points. Let's see, points per second. Hanging with balls is good too, because it gives you permanent points. As I said again, it's good to be able to toss big balls back and forth, just because it's a lot of points per second, but they're not permanent So you can think about how you value that. Oh, what I was going to say is in higher level match play, permanent points become more and more important. At low levels, big balls might be more important because, like, people aren't scoring the stash very much, but it's so low level that they wouldn't be descoring it anyway. Or they wouldn't be, yeah, even if it was easy to descore, they might not be doing it. Now, in higher level matches, permanent points are more valuable because everyone can score so quickly that once you get a big advantage, then it might just be even from there. So permanent points are really valuable. Let's see, autonomous. In Gateway, with this app thing program, I went through a lot and tried out a bunch of different strategies. So when you figure out what gives you what you want to go for on the field, I try and do something that if you can do it, you'll have a big advantage or you'll win. Like, obviously, if you control more of the stash, let's see, so that's 7, 3. Let's just give red all the big balls. That's the same amount of points. So if you can get more of the stash, if you can get 2 buckyballs in and they have 2 out, that's the same as them having all of their big balls in the goal zone and you having none, and that's an equal amount of points. So the stash is really valuable because you're controlling the space in it as well as just having balls in it. So it's effectively almost double the points if because they can't put their ball where you put your ball. So if you have 1 less, they have 1 more. And even though they're 5 points each, that's a 10-point swing. So that's the kind of thing you need to think about when you're doing strategy. Like, which of these do you want to focus on that? If you want to do that and hang with a big ball and win autonomous, if your robot is good enough to do all of those things, it will be extremely hard for your opponents to come back from that. So, and then if you figure out what you want to do in the game, then you want to design your robot for that. So, if you want to do this in a match, you have to have a robot that's very good at scoring the stashes and can high hang with a big ball and has an excellent autonomous that wins every time. But it might not have to be as quick with the big balls. Now, if both robots are very good at buckyballs, which is usually good to assume, it might end up being more like this, in which case you'll still win in this case. But assume if your opponent hangs with the ball too, then they win. So you have to think about what they'll do and how to react to what they'll do with what you'll do, because you don't know exactly what they'll do. You just have to try out different situations for each team and see what strategies come out on top. And then if you know what strategy, if you can find a strategy that will always win, that's something to go for. If you think you can do it, like assess your team's technical skill level and pick a strategy that you think is doable for that. Like, insta-win strategies have been tried in the past and have very rarely been successful. But when they are, it's amazing to watch. So, I think this has been, or I hope this has been helpful. Bye.